Good day everyone. Today we are going to discuss about inverse variations. What is inverse variation? Inverse variation is the relationship between variables that are represented in the form of y equals k over x, where x and y are two variables and k is the constant value. It states if the value of one quantity increases, then the value of the other quantity decreases. So the statement y varies inversely to x translated to y equals k over x, where k is the constant of variation. Okay, so for example, when you travel to a particular location, as your speed increases, the time it takes to arrive at that location decreases. When you decrease your speed, the time it takes to arrive at that location increases. So that quantities are inversely proportional. Let us improve your skills on how to translate statements of inverse variation into mathematical equations. So we have three sentences or statements. So number one, the number of persons n needed to do a job varies inversely as the number of days d to finish the job. So translate that into mathematical equation, that is n equals k divided by d, or n equals k over d. Next is the rate r at which a person types a certain manuscript varies inversely as the time t spent in typing. So the answer is r equals k divided by t, or r equals k over t. Okay, next is the cost C per person of renting a private resort varies there inversely as the number n of person sharing the rent. Okay, so you translate that into mathematical equation. You have C equals k over n. Okay, let us have another exercises about inverse variation. So find the constant of variation and write the equation representing the relationship between the quantities in each of the following. So for example, number one, we have the table for x and y. So this is an example of an inverse variation simply because as the value of x increases, the value of y decreases. But that's not enough. Dapat para maging inverse variation siya, bawat pares ng number na yan, dapat pare-pareho yung kanilang product. So 1 times 2, 20 is 20. 2 times 10, 20 rin. 4 times 5, 20. 5 times 4 is 20. So yun yung inverse variation siya. So dalawang dapat tandaan. Kung isa nag-i-increase ang value, yung isa naman nagdi-decrease. Tapos pag binultiply mo yung bawat pares, dapat pareho ang kanilang product. Okay? So, para makuha natin yung constant of variation, actually yung constant of variation, yung product na pinagkapare-pareho nila. But for the purpose of our solution, gagamitin natin itong pinaka-model equation ng inverse variation. Ang constant, ito yung k na ito. Para makuha natin ang k, multiply natin yung x doon sa y. We can write that as, may sulat natin yan as k equals xy. So, para makuha natin ang k, pipili tayo ng alinman sa magkapares dyan. So, halimbawa, 5, 4. So, yung 5, yun yung x, yung 4, yun yung y. Sasubstitute lang natin dito yung x papalitan ng 5, yung y papalitan ng y. So magiging k equals 5 times 4, which is equals to 20. At yung 20 na yan, yun ang tinatawag natin na constant of variation or constant of proportionality. Then, para makuha naman natin yung equation na pinapahanap sa instruction ay papalitan natin itong k ng na-compute nating value. Kaya ito magiging y equals, instead of writing k, we replace that by 20 over x. So, yun naman ang tinatawag nating equation. So, ang sagot, ang constant of variation ay 20. Ang equation naman is y equals 20 over x. So, another example. So, we have another table of values. So, makikita natin na ito ay inverse variation kasi yung value ni x papataas, ang value naman ni y pababa. At maliban doon, pag pinultiply natin ang bawat pares, makukuha natin yung product na pare-pareho ang result. Okay? So, at the same process, we will use the y equals k over x or k times x. So, pipili tayo ng pares na number doon sa table. Sabihin natin 4 at saka 18. 4, 18. Substitute lang natin. 4 times 18 ay 72. So, 72, yun yung constant of variation natin. So, anyway, kahit alin naman dyan ang piliin mong magkapares na number, you still come up with 72 as your constant of variation. Para mahanap naman yung equation of variation, gagamitin natin itong model equation, papalitan natin yung k ng na-compute nating value. Okay, so magiging y equals 72 over x. And that is the equation of the variation of number 2. Okay? Example number 3 tayo. So, ang given naman dito ay graph. So, katulad nung ginawa natin doon sa table, gagamitin natin yung model equation na y equals k over x or k is equal to xy. So, para makuha natin yung constant of variation, kukuha tayo ng point along the given graph. So, ikukunin natin, siyempre yung eksakto na para makuha natin yung accurate talagang value. So, alin na ito? Ito, yung sakto na 6, 2, 4, 3, yung 3, 4, tsaka 2, 6. So, alin man doon sa nabanggit ko. So, sabihin natin, ang kunin natin ay 4, 3. So, ibig sabihin, 4 yung x, 3 naman yung y. So, 4, 3. 0.43. Okay, so, sasubstitute lang natin yan doon sa model equation natin na k equals xy. So, yung x pinalitan ng 4, yung y pinalitan ng 3. So, 4 times 3, the answer is 12. And that 12 is what we call the constant of variation. So, yun na yung constant of variation. Ano naman yung equation of variation? Di papalitan lang natin itong k na na-compute nating value tulad kanina sa mga naunang example. So, you have na y equals 12 over or 12 divided by x. So, yan naman ang ating equation. So, yun na ang sagot. Kasi ang pinapahanap lang sa atin ay constant of variation, 12 yon, at yung equation naman ay y equals 12 over x. Okay? So, number 4 naman tayo, graph pa rin. So, ganun pa rin ang gagawin natin. Pipili tayo ng point dito sa graph na ito. So, the same process, gamitin pa rin natin yung model equation natin na y equals k over x. Then, o kaya, yung k equals xy. Parehas lang din naman sila. So, sabihin natin yung point natin ay 4, 1. So, yung 4, 1, ito yun. Pwede naman kunin natin yung 2, 2, at saka yung 1, 4. So, ito, hindi kasi natin eksakto makukuha itong point na ito, yung eksaktong-eksakto niya. Mahirap. So, mas maganda lang kunin natin yung mga integers talaga para mas mabilis. So, substitute natin yung 4 dito sa x at yung 1 naman sa y. So, 4 times 1, of course, that is positive 4. So, yun yung ating constant of variation. Para makuha naman natin yung equation, de lagay natin y equals 4 over x. So yan yung equation natin. So let us have number 5. So this is a statement. Y varies inversely as x and y equals 12 when x is equal to 5. Our objective is still to find the constant of variation and the equation. Okay, so first, we have to use again the model equation, y equals k over x, or we can simply write that as k equals xy. So, first, we use these two pair of number, 12 and 5, 12, 5. Yan, isasubstitute din natin dito sa equation natin xy. So, ang x natin ay 5, yung y natin ay 12. So, 5 times 12, you have 60. And 60 is our constant of variation. And the equation of variation, we simply substitute 60 to k in our model equation. So, we have y equals 60 over x. And that is now our equation. Let us have another example, but this time we are going to solve for the indicated variable in each of the following. So, example number 6, the given. If y varies inversely as x and y equals 3 when x is 4, find y when x is 6. So, ang unang gagawin natin dito para mahanap natin si y kung ang x natin ay 6, ay i-translate itong statement na y varies inversely as x. Pag ginawa natin yan na equation, magiging y equals k over x. Para makuha natin yung k, ang gagawin lang natin ay multiply natin yung first pair of given number. Yan ang 3 at saka 4. 3 times 4 ay 12, so ipapalit natin dyan sa k. Kaya magiging y equals 12 over x. So, ito yung equation of variation. Ito rin yung gagamitin natin para mahanap natin yung value ng y kung si x ay 6. So, paano gagawin? So, itong 6, isa-substitute mo lang dito sa equation of variation natin. So, you have there y equals 12 over 6. Instead of x, we'll replace that by 6. So, 12 divided by 6 ay 2. So, therefore, 2 is the value of y when x is equal to 6. So, ganyan lang kadali siya kung paano natin masosolve yung ganitong problem. Okay, so, but we have an alternative solution. So, I think this is the most easier compared to this solution. Ano ang gagawin? Ang sabi natin kanina, doon sa nauna nating statement, na yung bawat pares ng data ng inverse variation ay equal lagi yung product. So, anong gagawin? Multiply natin yung first pair ng number equal dito sa product ng pangalawang pair. So, ano yon? So, yung x times 4 equals 6 times y. Yung y kasi dito ay wala pang value. Yun ang hinahanap natin. So, we will use that as is muna dito. So, 3 times 4 ay 12. Then, 6 times y ay 6y. Tapos, para mahanap natin si y, divide natin both sides by 6. Tapos, ika-cancel lang natin itong 6 dito sa left side para maging y na lang ang matira. So, cancel natin yung x6 na yan. Tapos, dito naman sa left side, 12 divided by 6 ay 2. So, tingnan ninyo, we come up with the same answer. So, kahit alin man sa dalawa na yan, ang pwedeng gamitin. Okay? So, another example. If W varies inversely as x and W equals 10, when x is equal to 5, find x when W is 2. So, dito, gamitin natin itong alternative solution para mas mabilis. So, anong gagawin? Multiply lang natin itong first pair na 10 at saka 5 equal dito sa pangalawang pair. So, magiging 10 times 5, then you have 2 as the value of W, but x ay wala pang value, yun ang hinahanap natin, so gagamitin natin yan as x. So, 10 times 5 equals 2 times x, equal yan sa 50 equals 2x. Then, divide both sides by 2, divide natin by 2, So, 2x, yung 2x na yan, yung 2x na ito, makaka-cancel na yan. So, x na lang. Tapos yung 50 divided by 2 is 25. So, ganyan lang. So, yan na ang sagot. That's the value of x when w is y. So, ganyan kadali yung pag-solve niyan. Okay? Okay, so tingnan natin kung naintindihan nyo yung pinanood ninyo. Your assignment, solve for the indicated variable in each of the following. Number 1 and number 2. Ang sagot nyo ay submit dito sa chat box o di kaya doon sa stream ng ating Math Classroom sa Google Math Classroom natin. Okay? So, dapat may natutunan kayo. Thank you and bye-bye.